let's go to the poll. Which background is best for someone new to product management? And my question here is how biased this poll is, because Steve has continually said sales engineer is the best background for product management.
His background is the best background.
Well, only today did that come to mind. It's like, yeah, that is my background. Oh, shoot. So that says that, yeah. But Jon made the same point. He's like, I found somebody who was basically mini me, and I hired him, right?
But that's also a mistake I've seen people make, right? It goes to Gregg's post about how do you find a diverse background of people. And I have only found one person who I've helped hire who I would consider a mini me. And the reality is I didn't hire him. I had him hired at a peers group. So I worry about the mini me thing. But back to the sales engineer thing, Jason, what'd you vote?
Sales engineer.
How much of that was biased by Steve?
110%.
Okay.
No, Greg, I'm kidding. Honestly, no. So as a product manager and a product owner, and every level and every type of thing you can do as a product manager, I have always had my best relationships with my sales engineers, and they are only like one training day away from being a product manager, based on how their mind operates and how they're thinking systems, how they have the empathy towards the customer. They're thinking usually about multiple customers because they're thinking about future demos, future offerings, what other thing can I provide to the market. However, they're a little bit more lenient towards kind of the more sizzle of a product, so they can get the ooh-ah moment versus actually delivering what is useful, because they don't get involved too much post-sale. But that can be an easy switch. And they have that journalism, they have to be able to discussion because they have to be part of discovery. So they're so close to being a product manager, it really is just about getting them off commission.
So and there's where I was going to go with this, because I've also said that the best sales engineers make the best account executives, right?
Yeah, same reason.
And as much as product management may pay now, it can't compete with a enterprise software sales rep, with a package it's 300, 400 at plant, right? So there's a competition because salespeople like the sales engineers too, right? And I guess it depends on which sales engineer are you. Are you the one who wants the money in the sales, or the ones who wants to be more strategic? N equals many percent equals one. Yeah. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, you want to influence the product.
Yeah.
You're the one that actually wants to drive the product.
Yeah.
That's
not just sell it.
I voted for sales engineer too, for a number of things that Jason was saying as well. But the other aspect is that they need to they also understand how to deal with stakeholders, and having those conversations and having those tough conversations, with their customers say, you're not going to get it, or let me tell you about something else that maybe you really need that I can offer you. Those conversations go a long way. You just twist it a little bit when you become a product manager.
Yeah. Jon, had you voted for customer support?
I did, and it's a flip of Steve's bias, in that my very first job in technology was on a help desk. I definitely agree that sales engineer is a good background, and the potential problem with customer support people is the goldfish memory, just thinking about the last problem that they had. Mm-hmm. But I think if they have that background and can then aggregate problems and figure out, process improvements in the customer support, or can, figure out recurring themes and solutions for those, it starts to be some of the things that you need to do as a product manager. And also, when I did it, we didn't have screen sharing. And if you try to walk a pharma sales rep through a Windows 3.1 interface over the phone without any visuals, you get a distinct appreciation for good and bad UX.
Yes. And actually, my experience, while I voted for sales engineer, I've had more success hiring customer support. And tying back to our conversation last week, as first hires for product management, somebody who knew the product inside and out, understood the customers. They weren't doing strategy. They were doing it with the more tactical stuff, technical product management type stuff. And I thought customer support people were great for that. So, I get that. Actually, one thing I didn't point out at the beginning was we had 11 votes. I think if that's not the largest vote tally we've had on the poll, it's one of the top 2. So really good turnout for the poll this week, and actually some great answers on the open-ended questions. So any last comments on the poll before we move forward to the open-ended questions? All right.
You know, maybe a future poll would be interesting to look at some of the phrases we've used today, like systems thinking, market driven rather than customer driven. I wonder if a future discussion could be around what are those key attributes. And
Don't get ahead.
okay.
Steve,
Well, I
come
always do
on.
this.
I
I'm
know.
always one slide ahead of you.
Or 2 or 3.
Or
And
2
it's-
You're
weeks.
ruining the movie.
No, it's part. I haven't shared it yet, but there's a whole clip I got out of that. What is product? And I'm trying to find the right place to do it in the short clips I was telling you about, John, where it's just Tom talking about, oh, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm like, that's all that Steve and I do is go down rabbit holes.